So if this is your first time joining, we're so glad you can make it. Welcome. And please do put your name and where you're from in the chat. And then we're very fortunate to have Patty LaFleur of Lorenzo's House speak to us today about resources for young onset dementia, and then a terrific case presentation from Dr. Stephen Sapuyo. As I said, please enter your names. And if you're in a room with a couple folks who are joining, enter all the people who are attending. Please mute yourself when you're not talking, and then unmute to share, although we've been in plenty of Zooms where we may not unmute. We unmute, and please turn your video on if you can. We'd love to see you. Kind of helps us to connect when we can see one another's faces. And then, there's a number of echoes that are ongoing, CME accredited series from through the state of Washington for healthcare providers, including UW traumatic brain injury, behavioral health echo, and that's on the 1st and 3rd, so alternating Fridays of each month. And then there's a UW psychiatry and addictions echo on Thursdays, and then a training series through telebehavioral health, Fridays 11 to 12 on the 3rd Friday. There's also a hotline for opioid provider consultation questions for folks with complex pain management issues, especially high dose opioid use and deprescribing. And then there's a case series through UW Telepain that's also CME accredited. We take HIPAA extremely seriously, and so we protect all PHI. So if you're making a reference to someone, we wouldn't use names unless, it were public record. And then all sessions are recorded and available on our website, and we've got some really exciting upgrades in terms of how that information is going to be organized in what we hope will be a more useful and helpful fashion. Everything is there on our website currently, and we're hoping that we can sort it so that it's easier to access. There are also Dementia Friends rack cards. So if you would like these, lovely picture, Allison, how to become a dementia friend, what is dementia friendly. Washington is a wonderful organization that's building dementia friendly Washington. So if you'd like this and you want to have these rack cards mailed to you for your office or your clinic, just put your name and email in the chat, and we could send them out to you. As you see, we have a number of exciting didactics upcoming, the next of which is Seizures and Dementia by Dr. Mike Doherty, an epileptologist from Swedish. And we do have a number of cases. You're always welcome to bring your cases forward as we've learned together. They're really a critical component of this echo work, and no case is too simple. You can bring cases that you've presented previously with updates, and reach out to Allison or Chris and myself. This program, UW Project Echo Dementia, has CME accreditation, as you see. We have no disclosures for today's presentation or for the planners of this echo, and were there to be any financial issues, then these would be very, very carefully mitigated and disclosed. We also have CNE accreditation. Here's our hub team. As you see, really, we're very we're bridging across multiple systems in the state of Washington, which is really collaborative and enriching. And we're also bridging geographically across the state, as you see here. And we've provided over, 1,100 instructional hours since our start during COVID in June 2020. And over 70% of respondents say that based on participation, they would implement a practice change based on these learnings and participating in the program. So here we go. And we're continuing to hopefully have more representation in these sort of other areas rather than just here, but we're grateful to have such wide representation. So I would love now for us to shift gears to thank you, Patty LaFleur, and from Lorenzo's House to speak to us today about resources for young onset dementia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Patty, and I'm honored to be here to share the light that is Lorenzo's House. My friend Allison, will you pull up the slides, please?
Yes, I'll do my best.
Thanks.
Let me share these. And it looks like it did not. So hang on a second. Let me redo the share. Share screen. I'm going to share. How about if we say that I want to share this? Do you see the slides?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me go ahead and start the slideshow.
Perfect.
And see if we have the same funny thing we had before. Okay, and let me go
And
here
then,
and say that we want to do
perfect.
this.
I can see it.
All righty.
Thank you.
You bet.
So as I said, my name is Patty LaFleur, and I am the former care partner to my mom, Linda, who had younger onset dementia. I was in my late 20s and I was trying to navigate this disease. I ended up in support groups where I was the youngest person in the group by many years. There were spousal caregivers, and there were caregivers that were also daughter caregivers, but were caring for a parent in their 70s. So the age range was very different. And I was looking for support. Lorenzo's House is that place to provide support for younger families like myself going through this journey. I found their support late in my journey as my mom passed last year in 2022, but I'm passionate about supporting others on this journey and connecting with younger onset families, which brought me to my role as the Lighthouse Outreach Lead. What that means is when a family is referred to Lorenzo's House, they are referred in 3 ways. They can email, they can visit the website, or they can call, and I reach out to them. And I welcome them to Lorenzo's House with open arms and welcome them to our family where we will be providing holistic support. Lorenzo's House was founded by Diana Coase. That's her and her husband, Lorenzo, when her husband was diagnosed with younger onset Alzheimer's. Her family, which included 2 young boys, found there were very few relevant resources out there to support younger families. So she built a place that unapologetically serves younger families. At Lorenzo's House, we empower families living with younger onset dementia through an array of holistic support, ensuring we walk this journey united, never alone. We offer free in-person in Chicago and virtual programming that is available across the United States and has even started to have some impact in other countries to support youth, spousal care partners, and individuals walking with younger onset dementia. Lorenzo's House is a place of connection and resources driven by the voices of families.
Patty, do you want me clicking slides?
I don't think I can.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I can. Oh, wait, actually, hang on. Let me go here.
Why? As you know, the prevalence of younger onset dementia is increasing. Between 2013 and 2017, Blue Cross Blue Shield reported a 200% increase in the number of cases. Younger onset affects anyone before the age of 65, but as early as 30s, 40s, and 50s. This presents unique challenges for families dealing with the diagnosis. As I experienced in my support groups, younger families are grouped into the larger dementia community, where they are in groups with people twice their age and do not understand some of the unique challenges younger families face. Some of the unique challenges include undiagnosed or misdiagnosed, often a longer journey to diagnosis. They're forced to leave their career, which means income is lost before retirement, raise younger children as a single parent and the breadwinner. Youth experience a complex and confusing disease watching their parents change before their eyes, manage ongoing home and diagnosis transitions, family relationships and milestones disrupted, grieving with little to no relevant support, compromised health of caregivers, unpredictable changes, and delayed or non-qualification for Medicare. Now we're going to watch the 12-minute short documentary of the founding story of Lorenzo's House, which gives you an inside look into the Coase family and some of their programs. I will go into detail about the programs after and let you know how families can get involved.
Okay, and give me 1 second. It's just something a little odd going on. Let me escape out of here. So do you still see my screen, or you see?
Just like the normal Zoom screen.
Okay, so hang on. Okay, now let me go here and share my screen again. Let me get Zoom back. Oh, I see. Okay, let me do this. There we go. Sorry. All right, I think I got this. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to go up here and say that I'm going to share.
We can see it. And then I'm going to mute. Looks great.
The sorrow and the suffering can be so great that I almost can't get out of it when I think about what's happening to my husband. It's like this grief that repeats itself every day. And I know that if I sit in it too long, I might not get up. So I get up and I choose living, and that's what he would want. We got lucky with love. We met the night I moved to Chicago. And today, some 30 years later, we have true love, 2 beautiful and brave sons, a loving little dog we named Desmond Tutu, our little archbishop. And we have what I call this diagnosis of the family.
I just powered on this customer solar
Whoa.
panel system.
What was
Believe it or
that?
not, they paid
Sorry.
nothing for installation, and now they can expect.
I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And so since then, things kind of changed, with a big change in dynamic, especially being in high school at the time. My brother was in middle school, so it was a big change to kind of go from having him care for us to us caring for him.
He was a really fun guy who would always play with me and my brother, and he was always so kind to everyone around him.
And could walk into a room, become friends with anyone. He was super smart. So I'm told the smartest guy in the room, and just loved talking to people, meeting new people.
My husband is love. He is kind, so kind. He just radiates this kindness. Humble and a listener, you know, the kind of listener that leans in. He's a man of such integrity, affectionate and handsome and such a gentleman. He has this soft ping on his phone. And it pings a couple times a day. It used to ping a couple times a day. And I asked, what is that for? And he said, oh, baby, that's a reminder to forgive, you know, forgive self and others and the world, and just start again. And that's the kind of goodness, you know, my husband brings to this world. Sharing deep conversations about all kinds of topics was something we loved. And it seemed like almost overnight, we weren't having those conversations anymore. When I think back on the behaviors prior to the diagnosis, which for us showed up, you know, a few years prior, all those behaviors make sense now. The culture in our home changed. This diagnosis can suck the joy out of a home because it brings on these complicated behaviors. And for us, those, first showed up as dad detaching from his sons.
Essentially, everything needs to be done for him. Eating, making breakfast, making lunch, making dinner, that's all been having to be done for him for years now. But I'd say now, just basic things like putting clothes on, getting into bed, getting out of bed, sitting down in a chair. Pretty much everything needs to be explained to him thoroughly every 10 seconds. I'd say like that's about his span right now.
I think the biggest thing is just I can't have a conversation with him anymore. Losing that, I think like is really a lot because like even though he's there and like he's still talking, I can't comprehend what he's saying. So it's kind of like an extra thing for us.
The progression was very aggressive. And as a younger family, we were completely caught off guard. Younger onset cases are a sizable niche of over 200,000 in the US, but keep in mind that this number does not take into consideration misdiagnosed or undiagnosed. We are as a whole this sort of unseen and misunderstood and under-resourced group in the Alzheimer's community.
We typically think of Alzheimer's disease as a disease of older people, and it is. But if the symptoms begin before the age of 65, which is again uncommon for Alzheimer's, typical Alzheimer's disease, that's considered younger onset.
We need to raise awareness about young onset Alzheimer's because they don't have a place to go. They feel incredibly alone. No one understands. People don't understand them. People don't believe them. So many times we need to write letters of advocacy because their church or their community or their neighborhood needs proof that, hey, they have a cognitive impairment because they're acting differently than we expect.
Just imagine, what we often recommend for older people is day programs, senior programs to go to. Just imagine how odd, you would feel as a 50-year-old going into, a program with many patients who are 30 years older than you. And the activities, the interests will be completely different. They don't have a space to go to see other people like themselves. They feel so different.
Every family, every person absorbs this news differently. For me, I was in full denial, convinced that we were going to be the first family to beat Alzheimer's. I realized quickly that while there were a few really smart resources for families living with younger onset, they were few and far between. And still there was virtually nothing for our sons. My career has been in urban education. For the past 25 years, I served as co-founder and president of a network of public schools, all on the south side of Chicago. And now life has me on this new path. And I thought maybe I could use my experience to make a difference and fill a care and connection gap in this new space.
His name was Larry, but in our house we called him Lorenzo. And therefore the concept of Lorenzo's house came up with.
The Lorenzo's House Foundation is built around helping others who have a loved one suffering from Alzheimer's. It's not a cure, but it's a step forward. All of this to make sure these families know they're not alone in this fight.
Our tagline at Lorenzo's House is "We bring light." And the idea is that we are shifting the narrative. The design of our model came from what I felt I was missing, what I felt my family needed. And what I've learned from the many felt conversations with dozens of families is that we're searching for the same things: a place to tell our stories, a place where our kids can find safe emotional support, where we can access relevant resources and find community. We need a place to belong.
Lorenzo's House, I would say, is a multiple-pronged approach to kind of help families.
Our design model includes 4 rays: our youth initiatives, our care partner companions, our memory academy, and our healing and respite spaces.
Me and my mom were out to lunch one day. We brought this camp idea, and the camp is to bring kids like me and my brother who have a parent with Alzheimer's together to have them connect with one another.
If they're ever having a hard day, they can reach out to someone in the camp who knows exactly what they're going through and have someone to talk to about it.
Our Care Partner Companions is a proven care partner to care partner model. We personalize the match that offers this one-on-one connection with someone who understands, someone who shares a similar profile and is walking or has walked a similar path. Our Memory Academy will be an innovative adult day program for individuals living with younger onset dementia. And the concept design is to mirror real life in an experiential lab.
They will actually have enriching and stimulating experiences with guests and musicians and people from their own generation, enjoying their time together.
We will be very intentional about building up the culture and the mindset of learning and growing through really exciting, meaningful engagement. And then the last ray is our healing and respite spaces.
Imagine a healing space and respite space for the care partner to go and just be with others and in a spa-like environment.
So everything from yoga classes to virtual concerts and creative art sessions to a virtual Saturday brunch. And ultimately, we will, in community, develop self-care habits and mindsets together to build out one Lorenzo's house that delivers on this holistic model, empowering families living with younger onset, and then take this prototype and replicate it for families everywhere. Can't go? Do this
golly.
to clear out stuck poop fast.
Sorry.
Fiber helps you poop, right?
Jesus.
What Lorenzo's house is doing is really incredible, and Diana has just made tremendous bounds with this program already.
I am determined to make meaning of all of this. My guy, who is such a gentle, spiritual soul, a man of so much goodness and light, my Lorenzo is now walking so bravely every day. And while his condition is slowly taking him from us, I feel compelled to stand up and to fight back and to respond as boldly as I know how. And maybe we can turn all of this sorrow and this story into something that heals. I've had the privilege of connecting with so many lovely people, and it's when we get connected, I find, and maybe to tell pieces of our story, that we begin to kind of put ourselves back together a little bit. And we share a bond as care partner families, like warrior-like families, really, who are showing up every day with crazy love and crazy strength, and also so much sacrifice and sorrow. And so we have stories to tell, and Lorenzo's house will be a platform to tell our story as a way to heal. So it's time to build. There is a lot of work to do. And I believe that when we build and design and scale, that we need to access the voices of people who are walking the journey. So care partner families and experts in the field and those who've been touched by Alzheimer's, please walk with Lorenzo's house. Stay close. We need you.
Since the video was filmed, some of the language has shifted, especially including the focus on just younger onset Alzheimer's to younger onset dementia. So I'm going to give an update on the programs and the language. Will you open the PowerPoint, please?
Yes. It might take me just a second. Sorry about those YouTube ads. Those were
That's okay.
those were a little surprising.
I'm like, wow, those are interesting. Yeah. So as Diana said in the video, it's broken into 4 parts. So there's the youth initiatives, the care partner spouses, healing spaces, the connections program, and then support for the person living with dementia. Thank you.
Okay, do you see the slides?
Yep.
Okay, let me go here.
Perfect.
And let me go here.
Perfect. So let's start by talking about the youth initiatives. The first part of the youth initiatives is the Light Club. The Light Club is a virtual hangout for youth ages 8 to 30 years old to connect, have fun, share common stories, and build an alliance. So this is actually what I got to be a part of as a care partner, to connect with other people in their 30s to share our stories. So we have youth join in from all across the globe, the United States, UK, Canada, even El Salvador. The Light Club is facilitated by a licensed social worker, Tessa. The groups are divided by age groups. So they're divided by tweens, 8 to 12-year-olds, teen, 13 to 18, and 18 plus on the second Wednesday of each month. And then all ages have an opportunity to come together on the fourth Wednesday. The Light Club is built to be a safe space. Youth are encouraged to share as little or as much as possible. They can have their cameras on, they can have their cameras off. Showing up is just enough. The sessions always start off easy. They talk about what they had for dinner, they talk about what they're doing, and then they go into sharing their highlights or their challenges for the month. So it could be about the person living with dementia, or it could just be general. It's a space for the youth to really connect. Then Tessa leads a mindfulness exercise, teaching healthy coping mechanism to use in their daily life. And then they go into a theme topic, which has been developed by the needs of the individual groups. An example is preparing for the holidays, especially with the older group coming back from college, or they're coming with their family to visit their loved one, and there might be a lot of changes. So they talk about ways to navigate those situations and share experiences. Then they have an opportunity to journal at the end. Some things that the youth have said in their own words: I feel calm and excited to meet others sharing a similar pain. You can't find a community where so many other young people actually get what you're going through. I now know it's important to find that place where you can express yourself. Being here helps me helpful when around family, and this place is helpful for me to be around others. I want to learn healthy habits to process the disease in this environment. An extension to the Light Club is the full day virtual summit. So in the video, she referred to that as the camp. So this has shifted into the youth summit, which actually is coming up in June. So it's Saturday, June 17th. And it's online, and it's from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Central. And it's a single day virtual experience that unites tweens, teens, and young adults, all who have a parent living with or has lived with younger onset dementia. So they're broken up into different groups and go through different experiences together. So the summit was co-designed by our youth, and it's led by Youth Voices. The summit is built into different sessions. So one session is an art session where they partner with Yale University Art Gallery, where they'll be looking at art and creating art together. They also have a session called Techniques Through Understanding, which is partnered with Teepa Snow, Us Against Alls, and HFC, where they'll be able to understand different behaviors that they may have experienced and techniques to respond to the behaviors. Then there is a storytelling session, which is like a mini Light Club, really empowering the voices of the youth. And then this year we are offering a new session, which I actually am going to be hosting for the tweens, called Shifting the Narrative, Bringing Light to Stigma, where youth will share the stigmas they have experienced around their parents' condition and how to respond and react to those stigmas. Another youth initiative is the Young Professionals International Board. So this is a group of young professionals that magnifies the mission at Lorenzo's house by using their talent and voices in various professional industries. We believe that young adults show up uniquely in their communities, and we hope that by advocating with younger voices that are working, our cause will be magnified. Next, I will share about the Care Partner healing spaces. So there's a bright brunch for females and the light lounge for males. The Bright Brunch is a virtual brunch for female care partner spouses to share coffee, tea, or a mimosa, exchange self-care perspectives, laugh, weep, and build community. Sessions meet on the first Saturday of every month from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Central. They're led by a social worker, Leticia, who is also a care partner to her husband, Rolando, who is living with younger onset dementia. Similar to Light Club, there's a topic of the month based upon what the group has shared. One recent topic was, what is living well? When we respond to our own needs, and what does that mean to us? How do we channel our pain, our anger in the midst of grief and life? What does that purpose mean for you? So it's a space for care partner spouses to really connect and form those relationships to have the strength to show up. Next, there's the next virtual space is for male care partner spouses to come together, exchange self-care tips, experience a sense of belonging, and forge new relationships. Sessions meet on the third Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. Central Time and go till 8:30. It's founded by two care partner men, Dan and Don, whose wives are living with younger onset. It's really important at Lorenzo's house that the people that are in the positions that are connecting and making these and supporting these spousal care partners are also people that have walked this journey. And as a way to really expand on these groups and offer that one-to-one connection, they have started a connections program. It's a proven care partner to care partner match model exclusively designed for partner spouses and young adult children of individuals with younger onset dementia. So when I do those lighthouse intakes with new care partners or new young adults that are living this journey, we match them to another care partner that is walking a similar path, someone with a similar background. I just met with a lovely lady on Tuesday, and she was sharing about the fact that she had two young sons that were dealing with their dad's diagnosis as well. So I was able to match her with another lady who is in the same, having the same experience with her young children. And so they're able to now form this one-on-one connection to really have community and hear and see each other. And the last ray of Lorenzo's house is supporting the person living with dementia. So the Memory Academy is something that they're working on in Chicago because that is where Lorenzo's house was started and where Diana is from. And so this will be a day program space that will be for younger onset. It hasn't launched yet, but right now they're just continuing a music, movement, and memory program that they are doing in person. So there are 5 ways for people to get involved. So you can introduce us, so you can talk to people about Lorenzo's house, share it with friends, experts, families, and donors, follow on social, sign up for the newsletter, volunteer with us, and donate to the mission. But if you feel like within your community, there could be a place for the screening of that video or for me to share more with your communities or the people that you are supporting, please let us know. I'd love to help bring light to the communities that you are serving. So when you are referring patients or families to our services, there are 3 ways. So on the website, there is an intake form for people to request more information. Once they fill out that intake form, my job within 48 hours is to respond to them, welcome them in, and then set up a one-on-one Zoom call so I can know more about their needs and match them with programming. So they can do that either via the website. They could also send a message at info@lorenzoshouse.org. Or there's also the option to call 773-636-9192.